The notification from HR popped up on my screen, and I could barely contain my smile. After 6 years of grinding, staying late, and being everyone's go-to problem solver, I'd finally landed the senior manager position. My first thought wasn't about celebrating. It was about how I could break the news to my family without them turning it into another drama. My name is Laura, and I'm the human glue holding the Evans family together, or their personal servant, depending on how you look at it. Laura! My mother's shrill voice pierced through my bedroom wall. The washing machine is making that noise again. I minimized the congratulatory email and sighed. Coming, Mom. The washing machine wasn't actually broken. She just hadn't bothered to learn how to use it properly. Just like she hadn't bothered to learn how to use the dishwasher, the coffee maker, or basically anything else in the house that required reading instructions. Oh, good, you're here, she said as I walked into the laundry room. While you're at it, could you do Randy's shirts too? He has that important presentation tomorrow. Randy, my 32-year-old brother who somehow never learned to do his own laundry. Mom, I have work to finish. It'll only take a minute. You know how important this is for him. Everything was always important for Randy, or essential for Natasha, or crucial for Dad's image at the country club. But my things? They were always just inconveniences. I fixed the washing machine settings and headed back to my room, only to find 3 texts from Natasha asking me to proofread her college essay. Again. The same essay I'd already reviewed twice this week. My phone buzzed with a call from Kayla, my best friend and the only person who truly understood my situation. Please tell me you got it, she said before I could even say hello. I did. Girl, I can hear you not celebrating. What's wrong? I closed my bedroom door and lowered my voice. I'm looking at apartments. Finally, where? Downtown, near the office. There's this gorgeous 1-bedroom with a balcony and... A knock at my door cut me off. Laura? It was Dad. The printer's not working, and I need these contracts for tomorrow. I covered the phone. Did you check if it's out of paper? Just come fix it, please. You know I'm not good with these things. Kayla was still on the line. Girl, I heard that. You need to tell them. Today. She was right. I'd been putting it off for weeks, knowing exactly how they'd react. But with the promotion now official, I couldn't delay any longer. Family meeting, I called out after dinner, my heart pounding as they gathered in the living room. Mom was scrolling through her phone, Dad was half listening while reviewing his golf schedule, Natasha was texting, and Randy was the only one actually looking at me. I got promoted today, I started, to senior manager. That's nice, dear, Mom said, not looking up from her phone. And I'm moving out next month. The phone's lowered. 4 pairs of eyes locked onto me. Moving out? Mom's voice cracked. But why would you want to do that? Because I'm 29, Mom. I need my own space. Space? Dad scoffed. You have plenty of space here. This is about money, isn't it? We can discuss reducing your rent. It's not about money, Dad. I just need to live my own life. Randy leaned forward. Come on, sis. You know we need you here. Who's going to help Mom with everything? Maybe you could all learn to help yourselves? The words came out sharper than I intended. I can't believe how selfish you're being, Natasha chimed in. After everything this family's done for you, done for me, I wanted to laugh or scream. Instead, I stood up. My mind's made up. I'm moving out next month. I retreated to my room, hands shaking as I opened my laptop. A notification popped up. Natasha had tagged me in a social media post. My stomach dropped as I read it. Some people forget where they came from. Some people think they're too good for family. Guess blood isn't always thicker than water. Disappointed family betrayal. Comments were already flowing in. Mom had shared it. Dad had commented. Even Randy, who I thought might understand, had added his own passive-aggressive response. My phone buzzed again. Kayla calling. But I couldn't answer. My eyes were fixed on the screen, reading comment after comment, each one twisting the knife deeper. They wanted to talk about betrayal, about disappointment. My cursor hovered over the comment box as memories of that night 6 years ago flooded back. The night I took the fall for Randy's mistake. The night that changed everything. The secret I'd kept all these years. Maybe it was time they learned what real betrayal felt like. My phone wouldn't stop buzzing. Kayla had called 6 times, but I couldn't talk to anyone right now. I was too busy scrolling through the comments on Natasha's post, each one more infuriating than the last. Can't believe she'd do this to her own family. Some people just don't appreciate what they have. What kind of daughter abandons her parents? The bedroom door creaked open. Randy stood there looking apologetic. Hey sis, can we talk? About what? Your comment about how I'm throwing away years of family loyalty? I turned my laptop screen toward him. Or maybe Mom's post about her ungrateful daughter? He sat on the edge of my bed. Look, you know how they are. They're just shocked. Shocked? I laughed bitterly. They're shocked that their personal assistant wants a life of her own? That's not fair. Not fair? I pulled up the family calendar on my phone. Last week alone, I drove Natasha to 3 different college interviews, fixed Dad's presentation, organized Mom's charity event, and did your laundry twice. Tell me, Randy, when was the last time you did anything for this family except take? His face reddened. You know I've changed. I'm not that person anymore. No, you're worse. At least that person was honest about who he was. My phone buzzed again. Kayla. This time I answered, putting it on speaker just to make Randy uncomfortable. Girl, what the hell is happening? Kayla's voice filled the room. Your family's going full nuclear on social media. They're showing their true colors. That's what's happening. I kept my eyes on Randy. Apparently, I'm selfish for wanting my own life. Laura, Randy started, but I cut him off. Remember that night 6 years ago, Randy? Remember what real selfishness looks like? He stood up so fast he knocked over my desk lamp. Don't, you promised. Kayla's voice crackled through the speaker. What night? What's he talking about? Nothing, Randy said quickly. Laura, can we talk about this privately? I ended the call with Kayla. Why? Worried about your perfect image? The reformed golden boy who can do no wrong? You're angry, I get it. But don't do something you'll regret. My laptop dinged with another notification. Mom had shared yet another post. A mother's heart breaks when her children choose selfishness over family. Praying for my daughter. Too late, I muttered, opening my own social media account. My fingers hovered over the keyboard. Randy grabbed my wrist. Laura, please, I'm begging you. I yanked my hand away. Get out. Look, I'll talk to them. I'll make them take down the posts. Just don't do this. A knock at the door interrupted us. Natasha barged in, waving her phone. Mom's crying because of you. Are you happy now? Oh, I'm about to be, I said, turning back to my laptop. What's that supposed to mean? Natasha looked between Randy and me. What's going on? Randy's voice was desperate. Nothing. Laura's just upset. Upset? I stood up. You want to see upset? Wait until everyone knows what really happened that night. Wait until they know who really... Enough! Randy's shout made both Natasha and me jump. He rarely raised his voice anymore. Please, Laura, I'll do anything. Just don't. Natasha crossed her arms. Don't what? What are you two talking about? My phone buzzed with a text from Kayla. Whatever you're thinking of doing, sleep on it first. Trust me. I looked at Randy's pleading face, at Natasha's confusion, at the stream of notifications still popping up on my screen. The secret I'd kept for 6 years burned in my throat, begging to be released. Get out, I said again, quieter this time. Both of you. After they left, I opened my laptop again. My hands were shaking as I began to type. Funny how some people can reinvent themselves when others carry their secrets. Maybe it's time for some truth. Family secrets. I hit post before I could change my mind. Within minutes, the questions started rolling in. Old friends from high school, neighbors, even Dad's golf buddies. Everyone wanted to know what I meant. Randy called 3 times. I ignored him. Mom sent a series of increasingly panicked texts. I ignored those too. Natasha pounded on my door until Dad made her stop. Around midnight, Kayla texted again. Whatever happened 6 years ago, is revenge worth destroying your family over? I stared at her message for a long time. Was it worth it? They'd already shown they were willing to publicly shame me for wanting independence. Why shouldn't I return the favor? My phone lit up with another notification. Randy had posted a response to my cryptic message. Some secrets protect more than just one person. Please remember that, sis. Family first, I scoffed. Now he wanted to talk about family first? Opening my laptop again, I started typing the story I'd kept buried for 6 years. It was time everyone knew the truth about perfect, reformed Randy. The cursor blinked accusingly as I stared at the empty text box. 6 years of silence pressed against my chest. but the memory of that night remained crystal clear. My phone rang. Kayla again. This time I answered. "Before you do anything crazy," she said, "I'm coming over." "It's midnight." "Exactly. You're about to nuke your family at midnight. You need intervention." 20 minutes later, we sat on my bedroom floor, sharing a pint of ice cream like we used to in college. The house had gone quiet, but I could hear Randy pacing in his room next door. "Tell me what happened 6 years ago," Kayla said, passing me the spoon. I took a deep breath. "Remember that break-in at the community center? The one that made the local news? When someone stole all that equipment and crashed the van? Yeah, that was huge." "It wasn't some random burglar. It was Randy." Kayla's spoon clattered to the floor. "What?" "He was high that night. Decided it would be fun to borrow their van for a joyride. Ended up crashing it into a ditch." "But you—" Her eyes widened. "Oh my God, you took the blame." I nodded. "I found him stumbling home, covered in cuts and bruises. He was crying, saying he couldn't go to jail, couldn't ruin his future." I laughed bitterly. "He had a scholarship interview the next week." "So you just confessed to a crime you didn't commit?" "Mom and Dad convinced me. Said it would look better if I did it. First offense, good student, active in community service. They promised Randy would get help, would turn his life around." A soft knock interrupted us. "Laura?" It was Randy. "Please, can we talk?" I looked at Kayla, who nodded. "Let him in." Randy entered, looking as haunted as he had that night 6 years ago. "I saw you had company," he said, nodding at Kayla. "I can come back?" "She knows," I said. "I just told her." He sank into my desk chair. "Are you going to tell everyone else too?" "Give me one reason why I shouldn't." "Because I'm not that person anymore. You know that. The rehab program, the volunteer work, my job helping at-risk youth. It's all real. Yeah, built on a lie. Built on my sacrifice. A sacrifice I think about every single day." His voice cracked. "Why do you think I started working with troubled kids? Why do you think I spend every weekend at that same community center trying to make up for what I did?" Kayla spoke up. "Wait, you volunteer at the place you robbed?" "Every Saturday for the past 5 years. I answered for him. The perfect redemption story. Everyone loves Randy, the reformed bad boy who found his calling helping kids. "While you got labeled the problem child," Kayla said quietly. Randy stood up suddenly. "You think I don't know that? You think I don't see how Mom and Dad still treat you differently? Why do you think I never moved out? I stayed to try to protect you, to take care of things so you wouldn't have to." I snorted. "Really? Is that why I still do your laundry?" "I ask Mom to ask you because it's the only way she'll leave you alone for an hour. Every time I try to do things myself, she sends you to help anyway." That made me pause. It was true. Mom never let me rest when Randy tried to handle things himself. "Look," he continued, "what I did was unforgivable. Not just the crime, but letting you take the fall. I was a coward. But these past 6 years, I've tried to become someone worthy of your sacrifice. By letting them shame me on social media, I'll make them take it all down. I'll tell them I'm moving out too, that they need to learn to stand on their own feet. Just, please don't destroy everything we've both worked for." Kayla touched my arm. "He has a point. You took the blame so he could help people. If this comes out now, all those kids he works with..." My laptop dinged. Another notification. Mom had posted again. "Sometimes the hardest thing is watching your children make mistakes." Praying for guidance. Randy reached for my laptop. "May I?" I nodded. He typed quickly, then turned the screen so I could see his response. "The biggest mistake is taking family for granted. Laura deserves better, taking down my previous comments and apologizing to my sister." Sorry, Laura. Within minutes, his phone started blowing up with messages from our parents. He ignored them all. "I can't promise this makes everything okay," I said. "I know." He headed for the door, then turned back. "But I can promise I won't let them treat you like this anymore. You deserve your own life, Laura. You've earned it more than anyone." After he left, Kayla picked up her spoon again. "So, what are you going to do?" I closed my laptop, the half-written exposé still unsaved. "I'm going to bed. And tomorrow, I'm going apartment hunting." "And the secret?" I stared at the wall separating my room from Randy's. hearing him argue with our parents down the hall. Some secrets protect more than just one person, I quoted his post. Maybe it's time to protect myself instead. The real estate agent's heels clicked against the hardwood floors of what could be my new apartment. As you can see, the natural light is amazing, she said, gesturing to the floor-to-ceiling windows. I was already imagining my furniture in here when my phone buzzed. Natasha had tagged me in another post. Some family secrets should stay buried. Just saying. Family drama. Is everything okay? The agent asked, noticing my expression. Fine. I forced a smile. The apartment is perfect. When can I sign? An hour later, I sat in my car, staring at the signed lease agreement. Freedom was officially 30 days away. My phone had been buzzing nonstop, mostly messages from Mom about how I was breaking her heart, but one caught my eye. A comment from Tommy, Randy's old best friend from high school. Interesting post about family secrets, Laura. Remember that night 6 years ago? Maybe we should talk. My hands started shaking. Tommy had been there that night. He'd been in the van with Randy. Before I could respond, another message popped up. This one from Kayla. Emergency wine needed. Coming over after work. I drove home to find the house unusually quiet. A note on the fridge read, Emergency board meeting at the country club. Leftovers in the fridge. Mom. Randy was sitting at the kitchen table staring at his phone. Tommy's been messaging me, he said without looking up. Me too. He's threatening to tell people what really happened. I grabbed a wine glass from the cabinet. Maybe we should let him. Laura, I'm tired, Randy. Tired of carrying this. Tired of being the family disappointment because I took the fall for you. I know. He finally looked up. But Tommy doesn't know the whole story. He doesn't know about the kids in the van. The glass nearly slipped from my hand. We never talked about that part, how the van had been prepped for a field trip the next day, how close Randy had come to destroying not just his life, but the lives of innocent children. The doorbell rang, Kayla holding 2 bottles of wine. She read the tension in the room immediately. What did I miss? Tommy's surfaced, I said, grabbing another glass. The guy who was with Randy that night? Randy stood up. I should go. I have a meeting with my kids' group tomorrow anyway. Running away again? The words slipped out before I could stop them. He turned, face flushed. No, I'm going to call Tommy, try to reason with him. After he left, Kayla and I settled on the couch with our wine. Your sister's post about buried secrets was interesting timing, she said. Natasha doesn't know anything. She's just trying to stir drama. My phone buzzed again. Tommy. Remember how scared those kids looked the next day at the community center? Bet their parents would love to know how close their children came to disaster. He's bluffing, Kayla said, reading over my shoulder. He was just as guilty. But he has nothing to lose. His life is already a mess. The front door opened, Natasha home early from her study group. She froze when she saw us. Oh, you're here. I live here for now. She hovered uncertainly. About my post. Save it. No, listen. I heard Randy talking to Tommy on the phone. Something about a van and kids. What really happened 6 years ago, Laura? I took a long sip of wine. Ask your brother. I'm asking you. She sat down across from us. Everyone thinks you crashed that van, but it was Randy, wasn't it? That's the secret? Before I could respond, my phone lit up with a new notification. Tommy had posted some interesting stories about that community center break-in from 6 years ago. Wonder if those kids' parents know how close their children came to riding in a van with cut brake lines? What is he talking about? Natasha grabbed her own phone. What kids? My hands were shaking so hard I could barely type a response. Tommy, call me. Now. Cut brake lines? Kayla whispered. You never mentioned that. Because it wasn't true, I said. The van crashed because Randy was high. Tommy's making things up. My phone rang. Randy. Are you seeing this? His voice was panicked. He's saying I cut the brake lines on purpose. Laura, you have to help me. No one will believe me if I deny it. I looked at Natasha, who was scrolling through the growing comments on Tommy's post. At Kayla, who seemed unsure whether to believe Tommy's version or mine. Laura? Randy's voice cracked. Please, everything I've built, all those kids I help now, it'll all be destroyed. The irony wasn't lost on me. Once again, Randy was begging for my help, asking me to protect him from his past. But this time, The stakes were even higher. Tommy posted again. Lots of questions coming in. Maybe it's time for the full story. One should truth coming. I had a choice to make. Let Tommy destroy Randy with lies, or finally tell the truth myself. Everyone in the living room, now. I hung up on Randy and texted Mom and Dad the same message. This had to end tonight. Within 15 minutes, they all filed in. Mom and Dad still in their country club attire, Randy looking pale, Natasha clutching her phone. Kayla started to leave, but I grabbed her arm. Stay. I need a witness who isn't family. Laura? Mom started. What is this about? We were in the middle of... Tommy's threatening to tell everyone Randy cut the brake lines on that van, I interrupted. He's lying, but he's also ready to tell everyone who really crashed it. Dad stood up so fast his golf cap fell off. We agreed never to discuss this. No, you ordered me never to discuss it. But now Tommy's spinning his own version, and it's worse than the truth. Randy's phone kept buzzing. He showed me the screen. Dozens of messages from kids he counseled, asking if the rumors were true. Tell them, Randy, I said. Tell them what really happened that night. He looked at our parents, then back at me. I was high. Tommy and I took the van for a joyride. I crashed it because I was too wasted to drive straight. And, I pressed. And Laura took the blame because I had a scholarship interview. Because I promised to get clean. His voice cracked. Because everyone thought she was the troublemaker anyway. Mom sank into her chair. We did what was best for the family. Best for Randy, I corrected, while I got labeled the black sheep, the problem child, the one who needed supervision and couldn't be trusted to live alone. But you were strong enough to handle it, Dad said. Randy wasn't. That's not an excuse, Natasha suddenly burst out. Do you know how messed up that is? You sacrificed one child to save another? Mom turned on her. You don't understand. Randy had potential. And Laura didn't, Kayla cut in. She just made senior manager at 29. What could she have achieved without a criminal record hanging over her? My phone buzzed again. Tommy, ready to tell everyone the truth about their precious youth counselor? I showed the message to Randy. Your call. We either tell the real story or we let Tommy tell his version. Randy stood up, hands shaking as he opened his social media app. I'll do it. Son, think about this, Dad warned. I have. Randy started typing. 6 years ago, I made a terrible mistake. I was high, I stole a van, I crashed it. My sister Laura took the blame to protect me. She carried that burden while I got clean and built a new life. But I can't let her carry it anymore. Randy, stop. Mom tried to grab his phone. No, Mom. Laura's right. The truth needs to come out. He hit post. The response was immediate. Notifications flooded in. Some expressing shock, others support, many anger. The community center board will see this, Dad said. Your job is working with at-risk youth, Randy finished, teaching them that actions have consequences, that the truth matters. What kind of counselor would I be if I kept hiding behind my sister's sacrifice? My phone lit up with a call from Tommy. I answered on speaker. Saw Randy's post, he said. Brave move, but he left out the part about... There is no other part, I cut in. The brake lines weren't cut. You know that. You were there. Silence on the line. Then, fine. But people still deserve to know what really happened. They do now. And Tommy? If you try to spread lies about brake lines or endangered kids, I have the original police report. Want to explain to everyone why you fled the scene and left Randy to crash alone? He hung up. Laura, Mom said softly, we really did think we were doing what was best. I know, but your best wasn't good enough. I pulled out my lease agreement. I'm moving out next month, and this time, no one's going to stop me. I'm moving out too, Randy said. It's time we all grew up. Natasha stood up. If everyone's making announcements, I'm transferring to the state university. It's cheaper and I can pay for it myself. No more depending on Mom and Dad's money or Laura's help. Mom started to cry. Dad just looked lost. Your father and I, we don't know how to do this without you both here. Then it's time you learned, I said, but gently this time. We can't be your crutches forever. As everyone filed out, Kayla squeezed my hand. You okay? I looked at my phone, at Randy's post with its hundreds of responses, at the truth finally set free. Yeah, for the first time in 6 years, I really am. Randy lingered in the doorway. Thank you. Not just for tonight, but for everything. Don't thank me, I said. Just live a life worth the sacrifice. He nodded, understanding at last the weight of both our burdens. His to become someone better, mine to finally let go. The community center parking lot felt smaller than I remembered. Randy's car was already there, parked next to the spot where the van had crashed 6 years ago. He stood by the entrance, surrounded by a small group of teenagers, his counseling group. Laura? One of the kids called out. Are you the sister from the post? Marcus? Randy warned, but I waved him off. Yes, that's me. The kids exchanged looks. A girl with bright blue hair stepped forward. That was brave what you did, taking the blame to protect your brother. No, I said firmly. It wasn't brave. It was enabling. Sometimes protecting people means letting them face consequences. Randy cleared his throat. That's actually why I asked Laura to come today. We're talking about accountability. I followed them inside, where more teens sat in a circle of chairs. The room smelled of coffee and teenage anxiety. On the wall hung photos of Randy with various groups, camping trips, basketball games, award ceremonies. Most of you have seen my post, Randy started, about what really happened that night. A boy in the back raised his hand. Is it true you were high? Yes. I was addicted to several substances back then. I made terrible choices. But you got better, Blue Hair said. You help us now. I got better because people held me accountable, eventually. He looked at me. Laura, would you mind sharing your perspective? Before I could answer, the door opened. A man in his 60s entered, Mr. Peterson, the center's director. The same man who'd accepted my false confession 6 years ago. I hope I'm not interrupting, he said, but his expression was stern. Randy, could I speak with you and your sister privately? The teens whispered among themselves as we followed Mr. Peterson to his office. Photos of community events lined the walls, including one of me doing community service here after taking the blame for Randy. I saw your post, he said, closing the door. I always suspected there was more to that story. Randy straightened his shoulders. Sir, I understand if you need to terminate my position. Terminate you? Mr. Peterson laughed. Randy, do you know why I hired you 3 years ago? We both shook our heads. Because I saw how you kept coming back here, volunteering, working with the kids. I knew something was driving you. Now I know what. He turned to me. And you, Laura. You carried that burden all these years. Not very well, I admitted. I almost exposed him out of spite last week, but you didn't. Instead, you let him tell the truth himself. He pulled out a folder. The center's board met this morning. They want to expand our youth counseling program. Randy, they'd like you to head it up. Randy blinked. Even after, especially after, your story, both your stories, that's exactly what these kids need to hear. About mistakes, consequences, redemption, and the price of enabling versus true support. A knock at the door interrupted us. Blue Hair poked her head in. Sorry, but there's someone here asking for Laura. In the hallway stood Tommy, looking older and more worn than I remembered. Hey, he said awkwardly. Can we talk? Randy started to follow us outside, but I shook my head. This conversation was 6 years overdue. Tommy waited until we were alone in the parking lot. I was jealous, he said finally, of Randy, getting clean, helping kids, becoming someone better. While I just stayed stuck? He nodded. When I saw your post about family secrets, I thought, I don't know, that exposing him would make me feel better somehow. By making up lies about brake lines? I'm sorry, I was angry. Not just at Randy, but at myself. I was in that van too, but I ran away. Left him to crash alone. Left you to take the blame. A group of kids walked past us, heading into the center. One waved at me, Marcus from Randy's group. It's not too late, I said, to become someone better. Tommy scoffed. Easy for you to say. You're the hero of this story. No, I'm not. I enabled bad behavior by covering it up. Real heroes face the truth no matter how hard it is. I pulled out my phone, showed him the center's website. They're always looking for volunteers. You think they'd let someone like me? They let Randy do it. Talk to Mr. Peterson. Tell him the whole truth. Start there. As Tommy walked toward the entrance, Randy came out. Everything okay? Getting there. I looked at the spot where the van had crashed. You know what's weird? I've been so angry about taking the blame, I never let myself feel proud of who you became because of it. Laura. No, let me finish. What you did was wrong. What I did was wrong too, in a different way. But what you're doing now? That's right, and maybe that's what matters most. He hugged me, something we hadn't done in years. Over his shoulder, I could see Tommy talking to Mr. Peterson through the window, gesturing animatedly. Ready to head home? Randy asked. I smiled. No, ready to start packing for my new apartment. For the first time, saying those words felt like a beginning rather than an escape. Moving boxes surrounded me like cardboard sentinels as I sorted through years of accumulated memories. Kayla sat cross-legged on my bed, helping me decide what to keep and what to donate. Oh my God, she held up a photo. Your goth phase. Burn it, I laughed, but stopped when I saw the date on the back, 2 months after the van incident. My dark makeup and clothes hadn't been a phase, they'd been armor. A knock at the door made us both look up. Mom stood there, holding a stack of fresh towels. I thought you might want these for your new place. Thanks, I said, surprised. It was the first time she'd acknowledged my move without crying or guilt-tripping. She lingered, looking at the photo in Kayla's hand. I remember that year. I thought you were just rebelling. I never realized that I was drowning. She sat on the edge of my bed. I've been doing a lot of thinking since Randy's post went viral, about the choices we made, the pressure we put on you. Mom, we don't have to. Yes, we do. She picked up another photo, me at my college graduation, forcing a smile while Randy was in rehab. We failed you, not just by asking you to take the blame, but by taking you for granted ever since, making you the responsible one, the reliable one. Kayla quietly slipped out, giving us privacy. Did you know, Mom continued, that your father and I had our first real fight about dishes yesterday? In 30 years of marriage, we'd never argued about chores because I always did them. She nodded, wiping away tears. Randy's moving out next week. Did he tell you? Yeah, found a place near the community center. And Natasha's serious about transferring schools. Everyone's leaving. Not leaving, Mom. Growing up. There's a difference. A commotion downstairs interrupted us. Raised voices, something falling. We rushed down to find Dad and Randy in the kitchen, surrounded by broken dishes. I told you I'd handle the dishes, Dad was saying. And I told you you're loading the dishwasher wrong, Randy shot back. They both turned when they saw us. Laura? They said simultaneously, then stopped embarrassed. Don't look at me, I held up my hands. Figure it out yourselves. But you always, Dad started. Not anymore. I turned to head back upstairs, then paused. You know what? Watch this. I pulled out my phone and opened the camera. Say cheese. Laura, we're a mess, Mom protested. Exactly. I took the picture. Dad with soap suds on his golf shirt, Randy holding a broken plate, Mom still teary-eyed, all of us looking slightly chaotic. I posted it immediately. Family isn't about perfection. It's about growth, even when it's messy. Real family. Within minutes, the likes and comments started flowing, but these were different from the angry, judgmental responses to our earlier drama. These were real, honest, understanding. Looks like my house when I moved out. Parents learning to adult is the best karma. This is what healing looks like. Natasha came home to find us all still in the kitchen, now laughing as Dad and Randy competed to see who could load the dishwasher faster. What's happening? She asked. Growth, Mom answered, surprising us all. Messy, uncomfortable growth. My phone buzzed with a message from Tommy. Started volunteering at the center today. Mr. Peterson says I have potential. Thanks for the push. I showed it to Randy, who smiled. He helped with my teen group. Kids really responded to him. Because he's real, I said. No pretense, no perfect facade. Dad straightened up from the dishwasher. Speaking of real, Laura, your mother and I have been talking. We'd like to help with your moving expenses. I started to protest, but he held up a hand. Not to control you or keep you dependent, but because we should have supported your independence years ago. And, Mom added, we'd like to start family therapy, all of us, to learn how to be better, for each other and ourselves. I looked around the kitchen, at the broken dishes, the sudsy floor, the imperfect family trying to do better. For the first time, I saw us clearly, not as victims and villains, but as flawed people learning to change. Therapy sounds good, I said, but I'm still moving out next week. We know. Mom smiled through fresh tears. And we're proud of you. Randy picked up another plate, deliberately dropped it. Oops, guess we need more practice at this adulting thing. Really? Dad exclaimed. What? Laura's not here to clean it up anymore. We better learn. I snapped another picture of their bickering, this one just for me. A reminder that sometimes the biggest messes lead to the best transformations. Upstairs, my boxes waited to be filled, but now they felt less like an escape route and more like a bridge to independence, to growth, to a new kind of family dynamic, one where we could all be perfectly imperfect together. The last box landed with a thud in my new living room. Sunlight streamed through the floor-to-ceiling windows, casting long shadows across the hardwood floors. That's the last one, Randy said, wiping sweat from his forehead. Unless you're hiding more shoes somewhere. Hey, I helped you move yesterday. No complaining. Kayla emerged from the kitchen, already opening a bottle of champagne. Less talking, more celebrating. The doorbell rang. Mom and Dad, carrying a houseplant and looking uncomfortable but determined. Behind them, Natasha held a wrapped package. We brought you something, Mom said, thrusting the plant forward. It's a peace lily. The florist said they're good for new beginnings. And this, Natasha handed me her gift. Open it now. Inside was a framed photo. The one from the kitchen last week with all of us surrounded by broken dishes and soap suds. She'd added a caption, perfectly imperfect. For your new wall, she said, so you remember you're not actually escaping us. Speaking of not escaping, Dad cleared his throat. We had our first therapy session this morning. And? I tried to keep the skepticism out of my voice. And your father cried, Mom said, earning a glare from Dad. In a good way. We talked about patterns, about enabling, about how we've treated you. The doorbell rang again. This time it was Tommy looking nervous, but clean-cut in a button-down shirt. Sorry I'm late. Had my first official counseling session with the kids today. Randy beamed. How'd it go? Amazing. Terrifying. They asked about the van incident. I told them everything. My part in it, running away, trying to cause trouble last week. They actually respected the honesty. That's what real accountability looks like, I said, remembering our conversation in the parking lot. Kayla started passing around champagne glasses. To new beginnings? Wait, Mom said. She pulled out her phone. I want to post something first. We all froze. The last time my mother posted about family matters, it had sparked a war. She showed us the screen, learning that perfect families don't exist, but perfectly imperfect ones do. Proud of all my children today. Family growth, new chapter. Mom, I started. I know, no more social media drama, but I wanted people to see the whole story, the real ending. It's not an ending, Randy said. It's just different, better. Dad picked up a box labeled kitchen. Should we help you unpack? Actually, I smiled, I think I want to do it myself. Figure out where everything goes, make it mine. Good, Mom said firmly, though her eyes were wet. That's good. We stood there awkwardly until Kayla raised her glass. To Laura's new place. And to Randy's promotion, I added. And to Tommy's fresh start, Randy chimed in. And to parents learning to load dishwashers. Natasha smirked. After they left, I sat on my new couch, surrounded by boxes and possibility. My phone buzzed with a message from Blue Hair, the girl from Randy's group. Thanks for showing us that telling the truth isn't the end of the world. I looked at the kitchen photo on my wall, at the peace lily by the window, at the keys to my very own apartment. Opening my phone, I made one final post. 6 years ago, I made a choice to protect someone else's truth. Today, I'm choosing to live my own. Not running away, not cutting ties, just growing. Sometimes the hardest part of loving your family is learning to love yourself first. My truth. New chapter. The responses came quickly. This whole story has helped me talk to my own family. From drama to growth. We love to see it. Your brother's program helped my kid. Sometimes bad choices lead to beautiful things. A knock at my door. Kayla had forgotten her jacket. She looked around at my boxes. Need help unpacking? No, I said, surprising myself. I think I want to take my time, do it my way. Look at you setting boundaries. She hugged me. I'm proud of you. You know that? After she left, I opened the box marked Memories. Inside was the old photo of my goth phase, the one Mom had seen earlier. I placed it next to the kitchen disaster photo. My phone buzzed one last time. A group text from Mom. Family dinner this Sunday? We promise to cook ourselves. It might be terrible, but it'll be our terrible. I smiled and replied, wouldn't miss it, but I'm not doing the dishes. Randy, Dad's got dishes covered. He's been watching YouTube tutorials. Natasha, this should be good. Dad, I resent these implications. Mom, no you don't, dear. See you Sunday, Laura? Looking around my new apartment, at the space that was entirely mine, I felt something I hadn't in years. Peace. See you Sunday, I typed. I'll bring dessert. Because sometimes moving forward means knowing exactly when to look back.